Welcome to Almanac North. I'm Maria Hewitt.
And I'm Brett Scott. Thank you for joining us tonight. We have guests from the St. Louis River Alliance here to dive into ways to get on the river this summer, plus how to stay safe while doing so.
And garden lovers, listen up. The Western Garden Tour is just a few weeks away. We sit down with the organizer to get all the details.
It's going to be a fun show. That's all coming up. But first, let's begin with headlines this evening. A man was shot and killed by St. Louis County deputies Tuesday morning in Normanna Township after a violent and chaotic series of events. Authorities say the suspect, 57-year-old Adam Wolf, allegedly set fires at his neighbors' homes, one of them after spraying a resident with gasoline, and opened fire on first responders as they arrived at the scene. A volunteer firefighter and a Duluth Township police officer were both targeted but not injured. Later, Wolf engaged five rounds to St. Louis County deputies who returned fire and fatally shot him. Deputies attempted life-saving measures, but Wolf died at the scene. Homemade devices believed to be designed to launch projectiles at responders were also found nearby. Wolf had a troubled history with neighbors, including multiple restraining orders and a pending court hearing for a recent violation. The Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is now investigating the deputy's use of force.
Road work is set to begin July 21st on Highway 2 from La Prairie to Grand Rapids. The Minnesota Department of Transportation will start by reconstructing the Gun Road and Jess Harry Road intersection, which will close Jess Harry Road. Detours will be posted. The project includes resurfacing, drainage improvements, new sidewalks, and safer pedestrian crossings. Intersection work wraps up mid-August with full project completion expected this fall. Drivers should expect lane shifts and delays. For updates and safety tips, visit 511mn.org or visit the MnDOT project site.
A busy section of Steener Road in Hermantown will be closed Monday, July 21st at 7 a.m. for a utility installation project. The closure runs from Maple Grove Road to Hermantown Road, with work centered near Radar Road. Through traffic should be using the detour via Hermantown Road to either LeVake or Haynes Roads. Local access will be maintained, but residents must use the end of Steener closest to their home. The road is expected to be reopened by Friday, July 25th.
Our region is home to several notable bodies of water, including the nation's largest freshwater estuary, the St. Louis River Estuary. And inside, you'll find 11 national water trail routes. To learn more, we have two neighborhood leaders here, Annika Frazier and Karen Sunderman. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for the invite.
So maybe we could start with what the water trail is. I know everybody knows the St. Louis River, but the water trail, what does that mean? And it's a special designation, right?
There are 40 water trails around the country. We have the only one in Minnesota, right here on the St. Louis River. And so smaller subsets of that are those 11 trails that are just hints of where you can start to explore.
What are some of the most exciting and popular water sports that people enjoy on those trails?
Yeah, we see a lot of people kayaking, canoeing, boating, fishing, but then people even go out and then just sit by the river or enjoy the various amount of walking, hiking, and biking trails that we have around the area.
It's very peaceful out there.
It is. And do you have any advice for beginners who maybe want to get out on the water for the first time? What should they start with?
Yeah,
I'd say go with the pro. To start, that would be the best way to do it. And then Annika and I were talking about if you don't have a kayak, we also do beginner kayaking or beginner boating. We have the St. Louis River Alliance has a class coming up on orienteering and trip planning. Also, those are good and free ways to begin.
You mentioned going with a pro. What is the difference between doing a water activity on a lake, maybe a larger body of water, versus a river? What are some of the things we should maybe look for?
Yeah, there are a lot of similarities. I mean, the weather can change very fast. They both deserve a lot of respect because both the lake and the river can be very dangerous. But Karen had a solid answer on what she thought the difference was.
Well, it's the current.
Yeah.
And as we saw in the last week in this area, we got a ton of rain. So you know that the water level will fluctuate and the current always wins, you know, so it makes it more difficult to paddle against it. So a little bit like you're planning your bike trip, go against the wind first and then let it take you back to where you started. That's my trick.
Oh, that's good advice. Looking at the water trails, you said 11 routes, right? So are those like beginner through advanced? Can you be all skill levels to take those on? And they're loops, right?
They're generally loops, and they are delineated by novice and all the way to expert. And basically, it's the distance they're traveling. So you can choose your adventure and make it as crazy or as mellow. And the St. Louis River, at least in the lower parts of the river, doesn't have class 1 rapids or crazy rapids. So it is a good place to explore.
We have so many beautiful landings as well, so it's really easy to maybe just get out for a very short trip, go from one landing to the next, and kind of get some of that experience of being on the river without maybe worrying about a full loop or multiple miles. Just getting out for a day and paddling around a beach can be just as fun as going for a few mile trip.
Yeah, paddling is a good workout.
Yeah.
You know, I've gone kayaking a few times and I'm always reminded of the core and arm strength you need to get where you need to go.
Definitely.
Yeah. And when
always
you're
fun.
fighting a current, it gets worse.
Right.
What are some of the essentials for gear that we should have when we're going out?
Well, safety is our top priority. So honestly, the number one thing is a plan, and a really good plan. And there's a place called Paddle Safe Twin Ports that has examples of float plans. And that is basically the who, what, where, and when will you be back and what to do if you don't get there. And who do you trust this information with? So you can print off a little sheet if you need that help, that's good. But the second thing, most important, is a life jacket. And not just a life jacket in the canoe, but a life jacket on your body. Because that is the thing you have in your control is wear your life jacket.
And things can happen quickly, especially on water.
Yeah, and ensuring that the life jacket fits properly for you and any of your children, making sure that happens before you're in the watercraft so you can make sure it's tight, on securely, and if anybody does go in the water, they're safe.
What is your passion for the work that you do?
I have been a Boundary Waters camper for 30 years. So I love being on the water. And on Saturday we were doing an eco paddle with the city of Duluth and our SOP from UMD. Fantastic. And it's like, they're paying me to do this. This is awesome. So we live in such a beautiful place.
Yeah, I grew up on the local riverways in Mississippi and then moved up here and found the St. Louis River. And so I found a lot of benefits and passion for being on the waterways, engaging, and then now I get to be paid to engage other people, make sure that they feel safe and comfortable exploring the really, really beautiful place that we have around us.
Yeah, what do you hope people get out of a trip on the St. Louis River?
Anything they want.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say just fun, like feeling connected to the people and the wildlife that's around us. Last Saturday, that was a beautiful experience of our trip because people were able to see a different side of the river. They were able to meet a bunch of their neighbors, and then everyone kind of left with kind of an uplifting spirit of, I'm excited to try more of these places that we saw today.
Well, Annika and Karen, thank you both for being with us. Now I want to go paddle.
Yeah.
Good.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's go out there. It'll be
Venture up
fun.
north, yeah.
Thank you both.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Well, the summer season also means construction season for us. We all love that. Let's head down to Canal Park to get an update on the federal construction project happening there. Project manager Monica Anderson shares recent milestones.
Hi, my name is Monica Anderson, and I'm the project engineer for the Duluth Ship Canal construction project. We are underway with our stone revetment construction and the improvements to the visitor center grounds that we've been working on since about the start of May or middle of June. So my role on this project as the project engineer is to oversee the progress of the work from the contractor. We're very fortunate that the prime contractor, Northern Interstate Construction, is located from South Range, Wisconsin, also just outside of Superior, and they are using local subcontractors for their work, including a local concrete company, a local concrete cutting company, a local sod company for when we do our final landscaping. So even though it's a federal contract, the dollars are being used and appropriated locally, and that's with a lot of our federal work that we do. So the stones that we're using for the new revetment are coming from a quarry just outside of Superior, Wisconsin. So it was locally prepared and blasted last fall, and then it's required to sit and what they call cure for a winter. That's to make sure that there's no stored energies or forces or fissures that develop while it sits, so that we get a whole and complete stone that's not going to crack. And something very unique about this project is that we have a front seat for the public to come and watch the progress and oversee the work themselves as if they were a part of the construction staff. We have a lot of visitors who will watch from the North Pier and the open areas on the City of Duluth Lake Walk, and then up here in the visitor center at the museum. We have put up a lot of project signage to make sure that folks can come and seek answers from our park rangers, and our park rangers are educated with the knowledge that they need to answer the construction questions. There's been a lot of interest in what we're doing and when it will be done and what it will look like, so we've made sure to put some renderings of the future design out and have been receiving a lot of good feedback. And I really enjoy seeing the public, especially the little kids, enjoy seeing the construction and the big equipment. There's never a time when there's not somebody trying to scope out what the work is that we're doing or what's coming up or where they're placing the rocks and how that work is done. So behind us we have the recent City of Duluth improvements. So while we've been constructing our new stone revetment, we've had to excavate the existing material that is no longer in the required specifications for the new design. So we're looking at all of the preparation for the next phases of work. What I'm standing on right here is the base that we have prepared for the next phase of work, which will be constructing a very similar T-wall, which is the wall behind us. It's an upside down T. So that base will get poured in concrete on top of this prepared aggregate surface, and then we'll pour and construct our wall, which will, in the intent of that design, holds the upland material on the land side of the property and helps the stone have a place to be anchored to and lean against. So that should all help us combat some of those higher lake levels and wave energy and ice shifting forces that we see, and protect the site for years to come in the future. Yeah, so it's the larger stone that's underneath it, and then there's this class 5 on top of it. This stone is put in place and then rolled and compacted. You want a nice, strong, solid base so that when you pour the concrete on top of it, it has a good foundation to keep everything where it needs to be. So these stones are what we call core stone. They are roughly 5 tons each. There's a layer of core stone that gets put down on top of the existing native material. And once that layer is complete, then we go and place a layer of armor stone on top of that, which is the large stone behind me. Those stones range from 9 to about 12 tons each, with the largest stones being put down at the toe of the slope or the furthest into the water. Those large stones help anchor the revetment in place and also are the first to break up the wave energy and dissipate those forces that are trying to move all of the stones from the revetment itself. As I mentioned before, it's a giant puzzle piece. When we build these layers, we have to stay within tolerances to make sure that things don't get too high or too uneven. The slope of the revetment is very important for the way that the revetment and the lake interact with wave energy and how that dissipates over time. The operators are very skilled in how they have to pick up a rock, turn it, get familiar with its shape and how it might work with the other rocks on the site, and be very selective when they're interlocking these stones together. It's also it's a time-consuming process, and it takes a lot of knowledge and skill to complete that work from the operator's perspective, and it also can be hard on the equipment because it's not meant to always do those rotations and shifting and squishing the rock into its proper place without breaking the rock. So one of my favorite parts about the project is we'll have continuous access from the North Pier concrete walking surface to the rest of the Lake Walk system. So right here is the existing North Pier wall and cap. We will saw cut this concrete so that the new walkway will go directly onto the North Pier, and we will key in and tie in the new T-wall so that they all act together and can brace each other over the years. So the whole system will be continuous, and you'll be able to walk from the City of Duluth ramp right down onto our new sidewalk and walkway with the stone and the walkway on the lakeside of you, and then get onto the North Pier and vice versa.
We're in the peak of summer and gardens are blooming across Duluth. In a few weeks, you'll have the chance to check out some exceptional backyard gardens during the Western Garden Tour. Kathy Mullen and Cheryl Overby join us to learn more. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for asking us.
So this garden tour has been around for a while. Can you tell me a little bit of how it started?
Well, it started in 2002 with a mother and daughter team who had the idea that it would be nice to highlight gardens that are in the western end of Duluth. So it was first called the Far Western Garden Tour. And we've done it every year since, except for 2012. There was one year when we didn't do it, but it's been a lot of fun.
And it started with, after the garden tour, they went to Kathy's for an ice cream social.
Oh, fun.
And it's changed now where they come to the church and have a continental breakfast and get their maps and then go and look at the gardens from there.
I like that. They get fed before they go on the tour.
Yeah.
You know, happy stomachs.
Well, the first 3 years we had the ice cream social at our house. We were the last stop, but it rained 2 of the 3 years. So then Darlene thought she'd find some way else that it could do something indoors, and it didn't matter if it rained. And the garden tour is a rain or shine event too. So it goes on no matter what. And now they start out by having muffins and fruit and beverages before they go on the tour.
So Kathy, your task is to go out and find all these gardens.
Yes.
How difficult can that be for you?
Very, very difficult. I find
But it's gotta
myself
be fun, too.
knocking on doors when I find some, like yours. That's how I found your house. Beautiful garden, and I went and knocked on the door, and you said we'd love to.
Well, thank you. I
We'd be
appreciate
honored, is what you said. So that was such a nice response.
And we're on it this year again.
Yeah. It's important to know that Brett's Exceptional Garden is on the tour, and I'm excited to check out because I've
It's a
seen
little
some
stressful.
photos.
You gotta get ready
You're
for
on your end,
everything.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Brett was on it last year too, on our garden tour, and there was such a good response to their gardens that I asked them again.
So how did you get involved with the garden tour?
My mom was a gardener, always has been a gardener, and when the first 3 years I was on it, I just thought, that was a nice thing. It's through our church. The garden tour is through our church, and it started out as being a lot of people from church. But then the last 10 years or so, I've helped Darlene, and she's helped me find the gardens. So.
And Cheryl, this is a fundraiser for your church. How important is it for your congregation?
The money aspect is nice, but we do it more for the fellowship and the community, because we have people that come year after year after year. Every time I go to church, the answering machine's on and it's somebody, we've been going for years and years, are you still having it? And to me, that's the most important thing, is helping out with the western area, because we're kind of affiliated with the Spirit Valley Days. And we're grateful that they've let us in. so to me, that's the big thing, is the enjoyment people have of going and seeing the same people year after year. So for me,
So
that's it.
you come to the church in the morning, you get breakfast, you buy a ticket, you get a map, and then it's kind of a choose your own adventure.
Right.
You drive around and pick
You
the
come
gardens.
to my house.
You come to Dad's house, yeah. Yeah.
We have a suggested route to take, but not everybody follows that route. They don't have to, but it's the most convenient way to get to all the gardens. And our gardens are in Norton Park and Proctor and Esco this year.
Wonderful.
What do you hope people take away from this year after year? Probably generational now.
Yes.
Kids bringing their kids.
Yes, yes.
That was one of my favorite stories. Was a mom came when her child was in kindergarten, and so when I was going from table to table, I introduced myself, and that little girl's like in 4th grade now, and she loves to come. So that's, like I said, is to me the most important thing, is that connection that we've made with the people. And
Yeah, I was just thinking how this would be such a fun outing with my mom. You know, like I would love to take my mom and go around. So, when and where? August 2nd, right? Let's make sure people know that. And at the Norton Park United Methodist Church. And any other important what to do, how to dress?
It starts at 9 a.m. We start selling the tickets, and we don't sell any tickets ahead of time. You just show up at the door, get your ticket, and get your map. So you can. It's a self-guided garden tour. You go on your own, and you go downstairs and have some muffins and juice and fruit that Cheryl is in charge of down there and gets the volunteers to do that. And then you head out, and it's done at 2 o'clock.
Wonderful.
It's a fun day.
We'll hope for beautiful garden viewing weather.
Really?
But no matter what, people will come see the gardens.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
We'll be right back with some more regional headlines.
We're back with some more headlines now. A proposed 299-foot cell tower on Steener Road in the town of Russell is facing strong community pushback. Resident Esme Martinson launched a petition, now with nearly 200 signatures, saying the tower would harm scenic views, wildlife, and local dark sky efforts, which aim to reduce light pollution and preserve clear night skies. The National Park Service and others warn the tower could impact Apostle Island's visitors and threaten the region's scenic byway designation. The county will vote on their proposal July 21st.
Essentia Health is encouraging parents to use the quieter summer months to schedule well child and teen visits before the back-to-school rush begins. These yearly checkups are essential for tracking physical growth, mental and emotional development, and helping kids build healthy habits.
They also cover immunizations, nutrition, sleep, and fitness for teens, and can include important conversations about mental health, substance use, and sexual health. Pediatrician Dr. Merritt Knutson says these visits help prepare children for their school years, both physically and mentally. And if your child plays sports, you can get their sports physical done at the same time. Visit essentiahealth.org for more information regarding scheduling appointments.
And before we go, let's take a look at what you might be up to this weekend.
There's a lot. We're starting with Safe Haven Shelter and Resource Center. They are hosting a hygiene drive on Saturday, July the 19th from 9 a.m. to noon. They're collecting new full-size unopened deodorant and other hygiene items to support those in need and help them feel fresh and confident. Each donation earns you a chance to win artwork from local artists. It's a simple way to give back and support your community. For more details, visit safehavenshelter.org.
Also this weekend, you can help protect local biodiversity at Wisconsin Point. The Lake Superior Reserve and Friends of the Lake Superior Reserve are hosting Riverwalk's Spotted Knapweed Pull at Wisconsin Point. It's a volunteer event to remove invasive spotted knapweed on Saturday, July 20th at lot number 5. No experience is needed, just a willingness to dig in. Gloves, snacks, water, and supplies will be provided, but volunteers should wear long sleeves, pants, and closed-toe shoes to avoid skin irritation. It's a great way to care for the environment and spend time outdoors. Learn more at lakesuperiorreserve.org.
I hope I don't have any of that.
Yeah. Well,
That wouldn't be good.
go to Wisconsin Point and
Yeah.
know how to detect it. And
The
pull
garden
it.
tour is coming up. I hope I don't have any
Yeah,
knapweed
no.
in there.
Yeah, so if you missed it, Brett's Garden is on the garden tour. So for the second year in a row.
And you might see Maria there this year too.
I love flowers and I want to take a tour.
You should come.
I will.
Please. I would love to have you. That's it for this week's show. Go out and enjoy your weekend. I'm Brett Scott.
And I'm Maria Hewitt. Thank you for joining us. Good night.